Hey, good morning. This is Clint Boylston with eGroup. Appreciate you all joining the webinar this morning. Got about a minute until it hits the top of the hour, and we'll probably just go ahead and give another 3 minutes as we're seeing some folks trickle in right now. Wanted to go ahead and at least start the webinar to let you guys know that we're here and we're ready to introduce you all to Rubrik, and we'll get started here. Like I said, at around 11:02, we'll kick things off just to give everyone enough time to join the webinar. So we'll see you in 2 minutes. All right, well, it's 11:02. Looks like we've got most of our guests have already joined us. So just again, want to say thank you all for dedicating some time to eGroup and Rubrik. I appreciate you guys joining the webinar today. Again, my name's Clint Boylston. I'm an account executive at eGroup, and we've been a partner with Rubrik, gosh, over 6 years or so now. One of the first partners really embraced the Rubrik technology and the solution. It is continuingly to just combat ransomware, provide resiliency for organizations across the country and really across the globe, and really just making it easier to manage your data, to protect your data, and allowing you the opportunity to ensure that your data is being protected no matter whether you put it in the public cloud or on premises. Just to give everyone a little bit more information on eGroup, if you're not familiar with who we are, and our kind of explain a little bit of our partnership with Rubrik. But so we're an IT solutions provider. We've been in business for 20 plus years, really focused on delivering speed and certainty to hybrid cloud technologies. So we're a big partner with Microsoft, do a lot with the Microsoft Cloud, do a lot with on-premises technologies as well, helping you simplify your infrastructure, make sure you have a very robust and secure business continuity and disaster recovery solution and posture, introduce security solutions that fit your business needs, and of course, make sure that the network's up and running, right? I mean, most groups, if we're doing all of this in the infrastructure, we have a network practice as well to ensure that everything is well connected. But today is about Rubrik and their data protection solution that is really finding, especially through this crazy and wild year in this pandemic, really finding that there's a lot of need to help just make sure your organization is resilient and that you're protected from ransomware. I've seen a lot of ransomware attacks this year, and where Rubrik has been able to come in even after the fact and restore organizations and make sure their business is up and running, and we get through those tough times. So from the Rubrik team today, we have Jim Graham. He is a sales engineering manager, and he is going to be talking more about Rubrik. So Jim, feel free to take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Clinton. Appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. Like Clinton said, my name is Jim Graham, and I am the Sales Engineering Manager for the Southwestern region here at Rubrik. And I'm very passionate about data security, so I enjoy every opportunity I get to talk to our customers about Rubrik and how we can help with their cyber resiliency strategies, data governance initiatives, and why Rubrik is the most secure data protection platform in the world. Before joining Rubrik about 2 years ago, I worked as a data security specialist at Verona Systems, where I focused on insider threats and ransomware protection. Now, at Rubrik, my previous experience is becoming increasingly relevant in these uncertain times. So why are we talking about cyber resiliency? We've seen cybersecurity attacks continually rise in this current day and time, especially now with more people working from home. Actually, according to the FBI, ransomware is over $1 billion business. Additionally, Rubrik has helped many great customers recover and defeat ransomware attacks. So as we go through this presentation today, please feel free to post any questions in the chat window, and we'll do our best to dive in and get into any areas of interest. So let's get started. So how is Rubrik the most secure data protection platform in the world? Well, we're the leader in ransomware remediation. So to start, we designed the Rubrik platform with modernization, automation, and security at its very core. Now, there are several unique things about our platform. The first is our SLA automation. We take 4 simple business requirements: frequency, retention, archive, and replication, and we create a policy-based approach to data protection. With these policies, we replace thousands of backup jobs and protect all your workloads. And we back up not just the data, but we also back up the metadata. So Rubrik understands the where, the when, and the how of your data. This enhanced backup empowers Rubrik to leverage more information about your backups and do more for you in your business. Rubrik's unique design allows organizations to recover quickly. With a Google-like global search across the entire environment, we can swiftly find any workload or single file, even in a cloud archive. Simple, click recover, mount, it's instant recovery, and it's easy to use as your smartphone. Rubrik is also an API-first platform. So what does that mean? With our API, we can now help you automate and deliver services like self-service and process automation. And finally, Rubrik is secure and has been designed from the ground up to fit any organization's security requirements. The most unique and secure part of Rubrik is our append-only file system. The data written to Rubrik is never modified and only deleted within the retention requirements. So why is this important, you ask? Well, ransomware or protection against ransomware. And we'll talk more about this and other security features here shortly. With Rubrik, you apply the same unified policies across all on-premise workloads, which you see here at the bottom, and all of your cloud workloads, including Microsoft Azure and Microsoft 365. You see that here in the middle section. Now, Rubrik helps your journey to the cloud in 3 ways. First, we make it easy to archive to low-cost, long-term storage in the cloud. Then, once we've completed your backups, we help you lift and shift those applications to the cloud. And once your applications are in the cloud, we'll help you protect those as well. Now, since we have a copy of all your data and associated metadata, we can use those backups to get more out of your data. We recently launched applications through Polaris, our SaaS platform, to help you mitigate data risk. Our first 2 applications focus on 1, cyber resilience against ransomware, and 2, data governance. Now I'll go into more of these areas here briefly. So talking about backup, let's take a quick snapshot back in time and take a look at a traditional approach to backup. It all starts off starting with the simple business requirements. It's mentioned frequency, retention, archive, and replication. Then the business gives those requirements over to their backup admins, and they take the years of experience, the understanding of the applications, the platform, and the architecture, and they start to build out a plan. First thing they do is they're going to create jobs to protect that data, make sure that every single database, everything is protected. And then they're going to schedule those jobs. They're going to make sure they run at night or over the weekend, making sure we're not impacting the business. And they're going to create those critical blackout periods, end of quarter, end of month, even now towards the end of the year, making sure that there's no disruption to the business. Then they're going to go carefully calculate exclusions, right? They're going to block out all the cat videos, the MP3s, MP4s, other things that are probably located in the environment that we don't necessarily want to protect for up to, in some cases, 7 years. And then we're going to want to make sure we get a copy of this data off-site. So right now, today, most of our customers that we see as they're looking at Rubrik are archiving to tape. Now, if you're more cloud forward, maybe you're archiving out to Azure Blob or some other S3 provider. Then we have the important job of the cleanup. We're going to clean up the snapshots, the extra copies of databases that we restored, and make sure that we can keep moving forward. And there you go. But wait, we just did that for VMs. Those guys in the team also now have to do that for your NAS platforms, also your physical applications and your physical servers, and your databases. Then they have to create that for the mission critical backups first. Then they have to go into the secondary applications and secondary data sets, and then they'll possibly create a third schedule for lower priority, what we call bronze data. So how does it look with Rubrik? Why have we simplified this? Why is this one of the core things that we've worked on? Well, we take those same 4 business requirements and we hand them to the admins, and now they can take more of a policy-based management approach, and they create the SLA domain. And here's a screenshot of what that looks like from the Rubrik UI. There it is, very simple. Create the every hour for 4 hours, and keep those for 14 days. We take 1 backup every day, keep that for 30 days, et cetera, et cetera. Then you can now take that SLA domain and point it at all your VMs. You can also point it at all your databases and NAS devices. No need for separate schedules. Then, within the Rubrik Intelligence, software intelligence, we take all that heavy lifting, the jobs, the schedules, the blackout, the exclusions, the archive, and the cleanup, and we roll that into our software intelligence. You can also create additional SLA domains for the higher priority data. I actually even have a customer in Florida that created an SLA domain that says, click here in case of hurricane. So this is very simple to do and protects all your workloads. And then the Rubrik software intelligence just takes over, makes it easy. Remember, so a single SLA can protect everything if you need it. SLAs help reduce errors and complexities, which is really critical when you're talking about security as a platform. You don't want to leave any data left behind. And this allows you to focus on more strategic initiatives. So in summary, Rubrik has innovated 3 critical pieces of data protection. 1, we've made it operationally simple with policy-based protection across all your workloads. We've consolidated architecture with our web scale design, and at the foundation of what we built security by design. So now let's dive deeper into the 9 pillars of security design and talk to you more about cyber resiliency. As you may have heard, Rubrik is the most secure data management platform in the world, and it all starts with our hardened, fully integrated platform. Now, this 2U appliance has 4 compute nodes in it with shared power, but each node has its own compute, disk, and memory. We also hold certifications on SOC 2, Type 2, and ISO 27001. So what does that mean? That means our solution is regularly tested, penetration tested by third-party companies, and these certifications are always available upon request. Now, the operating system that runs on these hardened platforms, right, has all the OS services and ports that are unnecessarily blocked externally and internally between each node in a Rubrik cluster. Also, these platforms will scale infinitely, so no need for heavy lifting as you continue to grow. And this hardened platform also reduces the need for all the Microsoft or the backup servers that you have, like your proxies, your schedulers, all that. So it's all on one single platform. Next is our purpose-built, homegrown, immutable file system. Now, we never expose any part of this file system with open network protocols like NFS or SIPs, and with the append-only data is never modified or deleted. We follow that up with end-to-end encryption, so all communication between the workloads at rest on the brick or in transit to the archive and in the archive are encrypted, and this encryption is compliant with Federal Information Processing Standards 140-2. So another very important feature with the Rubrik cluster is our Zero Trust by Design cluster. This means that we are now immune to man-in-the-middle attacks between nodes. So we create a TLS 1.2 tunnel between all data nodes versus other solutions that may be using IP whitelisting. We allow you to integrate or leverage existing SAML 2.0 and multi-factor authentication investments, further strengthening the security of Rubrik. For the last 5 years, we've continued to improve on our enterprise-grade roles-based access controls. Now, these help create and enforce ethical walls within your infrastructure so that the admin teams, network administrators, and infrastructure teams can continue to do the jobs that they need to support the Rubrik platform without exposing your data and putting it at risk. We also create a logical multi-tenancy. So whether you're helping us secure shadow IT, the DBA teams, the server farm teams, and provide them the access they need to perform their duties. Now, the multi-tenancy also increases the operational efficiencies for the backup team and reduces the requests for lab refreshes, dev and test platforms, and other tasks. Retention lock ensures that the data is protected from accidental or nefarious acts. Data cannot be deleted, and retention periods in archive and replication targets cannot be reduced. Legal holds ensure that individual snapshots, not complete workloads, are retained forever, and all data downloads are digitally signed. Now, this helps for the chain of custody and authenticity verification. Rounding out the security by design is our audit and compliance reporting. All backup, restore, and administrative tasks are logged. Each brick stores a rolling 90 days of activity, and in conjunction with our SaaS platform, Polaris, we store it up to an additional 12 months of audit and compliance events. We also fully integrate with syslog and Security Information and Event Management Systems, or SIM, that provide additional visibility and threat detection. All of our reports are available from the UI or through our API-first platform. Additionally, all reports can be scheduled for delivery via email. As we go through, like I said, if there's any questions or areas that you would like to dive in deeper, go ahead and put those in chat, and we'll get to them as we go through this. So now let's dive in. Let's dive into the ransomware remediation with Polaris Radar. So I've shown you how Rubrik has revolutionized backup and recovery, and why Rubrik is the world's securest platform to protect your data from ransomware. So shouldn't that be enough? What if you don't have Rubrik? You see, security is a layered approach. There are several products in the security ecosystem that protect your physical assets, your network infrastructure, your desktop endpoints, applications, and even the data itself. However, ransomware is not a billion-dollar business for nothing. Attackers are evolving their methods and deploying zero-day threats as well. Furthermore, insider threats, rogue admins, and human error continue to grow each and every year. Additionally, eventually, one or all of these systems will fail to protect you against a zero-day threat. So, how fast could you recover? It's in the news, whether you're talking security professionals, business continuous professionals, that the common theme is immutable backups are a must in proper defense against ransomware. So why is ransomware remediation such a heavy lift? Why is there such a focus on protecting the data and getting to it easily? Well, new ransom strains and bad actors are very hard to spot. In some cases, ransomware have been living inside your environment for a very long time, waiting, listening. Once the outbreak has been detected, you need to diagnose and catalog all the affected systems and files. This process can take a day, weeks, and even some cases months. Finally, you need to assemble a list of all of your affected systems, identify the last good backup for these files, and in some cases, may be located in long-term archive locations like tape or remote archives. So let me give you a real-world example. There's a local Southern California construction company that has been in business for over 25 years, known for working with some of the largest retail companies in the world, including everyone's favorite yoga store, Lululemon Athletica. And they were hit by a variant of WannaCry about 2 years ago. Now, this outbreak ran over an entire weekend inside their data center, and it wasn't discovered until Monday morning by the CFO of all people. After a complete analysis of all the affected data and salvaging what they could from backups, it took them almost 2 months to transition back from their manual business processes back onto their digital systems. As a result, they lost several months of data, including current project plans, proposals, and even action items on existing projects. Additionally, they spent another 4 to 6 weeks remediating additional outbreaks of the ransomware that was still active in their backups. So as an end result, there was nearly a $4 million loss in revenue and an uncalculated loss of brand reputation. So Rubrik provides a comprehensive approach to ransomware remediation. We leverage machine learning to detect any anomalies on the backup data, and since our API-first platform can be plugged into your existing automation framework, such as ServiceNow and SIM tools like Splunk or Logarithm, if an attack has occurred, Rubrik automates the assessment of the blast radius to quickly understand what applications and files were impacted and when. This eliminates the intensive manual labor required, such as bringing up a VM copy, manually comparing and scrubbing for changes. Finally, since your data is never available in read-write mode, it cannot be overwritten. Now, this refers to our file system immutability. One-click recoveries can be leveraged to revert back to the most recent clean version, whether using the instant recovery, the live mount, or the file recovery options. So the question I always get is how does your machine learning actually work? Well, rather than go through all the algorithms deep by detail, let's do a quick little overview. So we leverage 2 detection pipelines to analyze and train the algorithm. First is the file system analysis. Now, in this analysis, we look at every file, add, deletion, etc. We build a baseline of behavior on top of our preloaded baselines. Then we use these new baselines to analyze future scans from new backups. Next, we use what we call file content analysis. Once an outlier behavior has been detected, we leverage entropy analysis on that data set. All analysis is performed by a lightweight process that runs on every single node in a Rubrik cluster. This reduces the need for additional external analyzers and works in harmony with your existing backup process. So, for all the math people out there, here's a quick sample as a result of our model training and false positive analysis. Now, across all 3 stages of this process, the model generated 54 false positive results from over 63,000 samples. So, in case you don't have your calculator ready, that's a less than a 0.1% false positive rate. Pretty impressive, I think. So, let's walk you through Polaris Radar, what it looks like. If you were ever to have to go through this process, we'll show you what it looks like. So right here, you'll see, we give you some important data. This is the Polaris Rubrik UI. It's web-based, so you can run it from any computer, tablet, smartphone, anywhere that's connected to the internet. Show you the critical system events up here in the left-hand corner. Then we talk about replication events, backup events completed, archive events completed, and we'll give you a location of every single cluster across the world in your environment. And we can also help you identify the anomalies detected. This is powered by our Radar product. So from here, we can quickly dive in, start to do our own analysis, perform our own forensics on our data. Here, you'll see over a period of time in April, we can show you every single deleted, modified, created, and through our entropy scans, what we consider suspicious. So here, from right here in a single click, we can now dive in and further investigate that snapshot. Here you can see, we see the entire folder structure on this volume, on this VM that we have, showing every single folder, every change that's happened, adds, deletes the suspicious files. We can continue to dive further into the engineering department, and here you'll see every single file that was deleted. And as an example here, we'll see that this PDF was deleted and it was replaced by its encrypted version. So, single point recovery, surgical replacement. We can now select each of these files that we want to replace, and we can actually overwrite those back to the original location. No longer have to copy it. You can also download copies of these files directly to the machine you're using to access Polaris, or for whatever reason, you can also recover to a separate folder for additional analysis. Now, we support all the areas where human-generated data, the preferred target of ransomware, is typically found. And this is across virtual machines, NAS file sets, and including our product NAS Direct Archive. For those of you who are not familiar with that, that is the Rubrik process where we can ingest and analyze large NAS platforms. And without landing those files directly onto our brick and having to double the amount of storage you have, we index all the files and write it straight to the archive of your choice, including Azure Blob. We also support AIX and Solaris platforms, Windows and Linux file sets. So enough about the doom and gloom of what ransomware creates. Everyone loves us a good success story. So let's talk about the city of Durham. So the key points here is that this attack happened on Friday, March 6th. The big win here was from the mayor himself, Mayor Steve Shinwell. The city can be assured that our backups are very good because they're immutable. Additionally, they were able to quickly restore all their mission-critical business services, including 911 services. In addition, Terry Good, the Durham CIO, emphasized that core business systems, including the ones that manage payroll, were back online by the start of the business week. So no loss of revenue for the city, and everything went back to normal. Here's a success story that's kind of near and dear to my heart. This is a customer that's based right here in Southern California. Now, they had a large outbreak in June of 2019 when users reported they couldn't access the systems, but they were lucky. They were able to recover 100% of the impacted systems that was currently being protected by Rubrik within minutes. Now, this included recovering their mission-critical electronic medical record system. Now, too often we hear the horror stories of medical facilities, hospitals, clinics actually having to unplug their computers from the network due to these outbreaks, but not for these guys, not at Kern Medical. The CTO, Craig Whitmer, said that after the incident, they were so impressed by the way how quickly we were able to restore their systems. They continued to move all their legacy systems on Rubrik's immutable backups for future protection. So everyone, thank you so much for the opportunity to share my passion about data security and show you how Rubrik is the most secure data security platform in the world. So if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to dive into anything a little further. Clinton, do we have any questions?
I don't see any questions. Do appreciate Jim, you going through everything. Yeah, if any of our guests out there do have any questions, please feel free to shoot them over in the questions box. Forgot to mention that at the beginning. If you don't have any questions right now, more than happy to answer questions later. We will be sending out the recording of this webinar. When we do that, feel free to send any questions you have about the Rubrik platform to myself or to Jim or to Carly, who is our marketing director, who you will likely be getting some of those. You get most of the emails from. Between the three of us, we're happy to make sure we answer any and all questions that you have about the platform. One last thing that we'll leave you with is, and I'll share my screen very quickly, and I just wanted to share with you a program that we have. It is called our eGroup Cloud Backup Assessment. And we do this in partnership with Rubrik and with Microsoft. So the goal here is to really kind of go through in sort of a workshop settings, like a day or two setting. We're going to sit down with you. We're going to understand your business objectives, right? Really want to make sure we understand the requirements of your business based on what your data protection requirements are. Like, for instance, recovery point objectives, recovery requirements for recovery time objectives. Understand there's any compliance regulations that you guys have to make sure you comply with. Go through all of those requirements, really understand your business, where you are today, where your challenges lie, and really kind of understand where you're trying to get to. And then a part of that is introduce you guys to the idea of leveraging the public cloud, specifically Microsoft Azure, as your secondary data center to provide more resiliency, and what that looks like in working with Rubrik. Along that, assessment, that 3-day assessment, is we would go through on day 2, provide you with a cloud workshop, make sure that you've got your governance policies in place, really kind of lay out a design for what a data protection solution looks like for you guys in Microsoft Azure. Go through the network design as those things are necessary, and then make sure that your compatibility, you understand the cost of what things are like in the public cloud, and provide you with cost analysis on Rubrik as well. The purpose of all of those things is to provide you with a business case, right? As you go and look for, as you start to work with your team internally on how to prioritize, these projects, where this falls in line. We want to provide you with those cost analysis and the economics of Microsoft Azure in the public cloud. Also with Rubrik, what the total cost of ownership looks like, what your return on your investment is going to be. Really go through all of those financial details with you all so you have a good understanding of where you are today and what it's going to take to get where you want to be, right? And where the return on the investment is. And then obviously all of these things I just talked about, we want to make sure you guys fully understand that and leave you documentations around all of these things that we speak on. We're going to go super in depth on every aspect of your business, what you're trying to protect from a data standpoint, what the criticality of that looks like across your entire organization, and make sure that you fully understand where you guys are today and where you're trying to get to. So that's what we're trying to accomplish with this eGroup Cloud Backup Assessment and what you're going to be left with. This is a fully funded engagement through Microsoft, and if you don't think tomorrow is the best time to get started on Rubrik, but you think it could be in the near future, we're happy to start kind of lining some of those details up for you in the interim as you start to figure out what the process looks like in terms of next steps for your Rubrik or for your data protection, your backup solution, and really that investment. Really start providing those financial and business requirement objectives to make sure that we're hitting on those topics for you, and you have all of that information. So always something we try to leave our customers with every time we talk about Rubrik and just the quality of that product. We've got tons of success with customers and where they found a lot of value out with leveraging Rubrik, just as Jim mentioned, on some of the ransomware cases where they were able to combat that and really get cities, municipalities, and obviously private businesses as well back up and running and make sure the business is okay. So do appreciate everyone joining us this afternoon. As I mentioned, if any questions pop up, please feel free to send them our way. We're happy to have the conversation with you, and happy to engage however that needs to look like. But regardless, Jim, appreciate your time this morning to walk through all of this with our guests. And to our guests, thank you for investing some time in Rubrik and in eGroup. Hopefully you learned something today, and we're happy to continue the conversation when it makes sense for each and every one of you. Appreciate the time, and we look forward to talking with you on future Tech Talk.